The world we live as right now is at its most vulnerable stakes. Garbage everywhere, you can see pollution here and there, resources becoming more or less day by day. And not only that, we've seen not just so long ago researchers holding a demonstration saying that we have less than 7 years to save our planet. And this is not some serious joke. For all that regarding matter, we need to take this matter more seriously and take it into action. The status quo shows just how worse our planet condition has occurred. The human population keeps increasing day by day, with our resources not getting any better. And as human lives increase, so does their daily needs. And this creates a problem where we left too many waste on our planet. And the problem doesn't just stop like that. If we keep this thing if we keep letting this happen, this would create a much more catastrophic problem that we could not imagine. The goal for our proposal is simple. We want humanity to be able to keep enjoying the prosperity of our planet in the long run. And for the mechanism, we would make a policy saying that each individual and organization who do not recycle their waste, at least half of the waste they consume, will be fined by 5 million rupiahs per kilogram. And I'm going to elaborate on that matter later on in my arguments. And to contribute in this debate, I'm going to bring up two main arguments. The first one is, why is it justified for us to criminalize those who do not recycle? And the second one is, what are the benefits we're going to get from it? So the first argument, why is it justified? Now, before I'm going to explain why about the justification, we need to first know how is it going to look like in our side of the house, right? So I'm going to explain how the mechanism is going to work. So the first thing we would do is to make the policy as said in my setup. Now, why do we have to do this? Like, why is it so important to make the policies? It's to show the people that we take this matter really seriously, and that to show how urgent we need this policy right now is because people still not realize just how bad our condition has been. There has been a saying of 3R, like the reduce, reuse, recycle, but that still doesn't work. It all came back to just some warning that goes by just like that. So in the end, it's just the people who heard it, but they don't really do into action about it. And people still do not show their act that they care about the planet in the tiniest bit. They still ignore to do just a little things such as recycling, like one plastic bottle, because they just don't bother. This shows how urgent we need to actualize this policy right now, and as to why is that so important. And once this law has been made, likelihood of individual and organizations starting to recycle the thing they have consumed will increase really high, because that's just human nature. You tend to avoid something that would cause you such a problem, and being to have paid fines for something that you might find not so valuable would definitely be something that you want to avoid. And the exclusivity falls under our side of the house, since on their side, people would keep ignoring this matter and not to take this so seriously, since they don't see any harms that would directly impact themselves. They don't see what's going to happen, what's the worst that could happen for them if they do not recycle just one plastic bottle. And in continuing the mechanism, the fine that is being paid by the people who did not do their job will then goes to the country and will be used for something contributing a go green, like planting more trees and so on. Now to my second point as to justification. Talking about the justification, why is it justified to criminalize them? Because they are a living proof and a contributional factors that is worsen the current situation of our planet. And as someone who does something wrong, it is naturally just right for them to get punished, because that's when they learn that something is not okay to be done. And that's the part where they then realize their bad behavior and starting to try to redeem themselves and try to change for the better. Like when a girl being curious about their mom's makeup and she tries to use the lipstick for them, and then the mom got angry at the little girl because that's not something that you can just play around with, and the girl starting then would not just take their mama's lipstick from on. That's the part when the child learns that you cannot just take your mom's lipstick like that, or like how there is a literal law that states you should not do drugs and you try to avoid drugs as much as you can so that you will not get into trouble. Same thing applies once we actualize this law. People will then start to realize just how bad our condition has been. Like, why is it so important for them to starting to recycle? And that shows just how is it justified for us to criminalize people who do not recycle. Now, moving on to my second argument, what's the benefits we're going to get to in our side of the house, right? The first point is that we're going to reduce pollutions. This is foremost our most concern to our planet. Human lives keep increasing as well as their activities. They buy more daily needs and create more and more waste, while the pollution keeps increasing day by day. That makes the planet gets nothing good but getting worse and worse. The best thing we should do to save our planet is for us to understand just how bad our condition has gotten. And the best thing we could do, of course, to not create more waste. Like, we should minimalize it as little as possible. But to make humans stop using more stuff would be something impossible, right? Since you need that stuff for you to be able to continue your daily life, you need to buy this for you to be able to do that, and so on. So making them stop buying more stuff would be something definitely impossible. Now the question is how to produce less waste without reducing our consumption. The answer is recycle. As simple as that. Now you might be wondering, why recycle? Why is it so important for us to do recycle? Because that is by far the most efficient way for us to handle the situation. Like, for example, once a day you use one plastic consumption, but times 7 days a week, and times there's like 30 days a month and years, and that's just by one person, not counting like all the billions of people who lives in this planet. Now just one plastic you need to wait until like thousands of years for it to be disposed, and it's going to take so long for it to actually be disposed, and it will then create a soil pollution. But if you then try to burn it, it will then create an air pollution that would release all the carbon dioxide to the air and causing global warming and so on and so on. So if you cannot reduce your use of plastic, then try to recycle it. And once again, the exclusive falls under our side of the house. And by people starting to actually try to recycle the plastic they use, this would actually increase their creativity. Because when you try to create something from like a plastic, you need to enhance your creativity for you to be able to actually recycle that plastic. Like when you try to recycle a bottle of water, a plastic bottle, and create it into a flower vase, that will increase your creativity and then create more new innovations. And that just shows how beneficial this law will just give us in our side of the house. Hence, we're proud to propose.